All right, so Ray, recently Elon gave me a free month of full self driving in my Tesla, and I can tell you it scared the crap out of me. This thing went fast, it went slow, it tried to change lanes when I didn't want it to change lanes. It said that I was about to crash into a car when the car wasn't even close to me, so it slammed on brakes. I had my editor in the car with me when I tried it one time, and he said, "Nope, nope, nope, take it off. I'm not. No, let's not do that." Anyway, but with saying all that, we have that Trump plans to ease U.S. rules for self-driving cars, and I can tell you, after being in my Model S with this trial version of FSD, which was
Yes.
the full version, they just gave it to me for free for a month. That scares me to death.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, if that headline was correct, you're not excited about seeing way more self-driving vehicles on the road surrounding you?
Absolutely not. I mean, that car. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like not. It wasn't conservative as far as how it was driving. It was like both at the same time, and it would switch. It was like it had what's the disorder where
Multiple
someone has multiple.
personalities?
Yeah. It's like it had that all in like a 5 minute driving session. No, we can't. I don't want it.
I will say this. Uh, it concerns me that we're going to be moving much more rapidly to self-driving vehicles than I would have ever cared for, because it would scare the hell out of me knowing that, well, there's no pedals, there's no steering wheel, there's no there's just a computer. Yeah, that scares the hell out of me. Now that doesn't mean that the computer couldn't be better at driving than I am or than humans are. It doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean that there won't be less accidents. Very well, there might be less accidents. It just I I don't feel comfortable, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that I'm 73 years old and I'm a boomer, and I am resistant to certain kinds of change, and that's the type of change that scares me. Um, Now, I would think that would excite the hell out of Tesla with all their robo taxis, and I would almost suggest that one of the and this I don't know how this is all going to play out, but it's almost as if all the manufacturers keep the asking prices of their vehicles so damn high that very few people can afford them, and the rest that can't will be taken around wherever they need to go in a robo taxi, in a self-driving vehicle that they hire for that trip. And the vast majority of people will never own a car. They will just use one when needed because, well, it'll be on their app, not ass, on their app. It'll be on their app, and they'll just, they'll. I mean, that's what I think the future is. What do you think?
But that's what my generation wants. You talk about the boomers, and the boomers have all the money. Well, us millennials, we don't have any of the money, so
Yeah.
we can't afford to own anything. So we just want to pay as we go, right? We want to lease
Okay.
everything. We want to lease our furniture. We want an iPhone and an iPad, and we just want to pay a service fee every month and just be given the new products all the time. And we don't realize that we're paying way more by doing this kind of method than we are if we actually buy the freaking thing, because we're stupid, right? We're just the millennials that we don't know anything.
It's not that you're
This is the way.
stupid. No, it's not that millennials are stupid. They're conditioned. And they're conditioned based on everything that they've seen in their lifetime. Okay. Um,
Hey, stop. No. Stop defending us. Look, I'm around all these millennials. I grew up with them. I know who they are, and they're
yeah,
stupid.
yeah, and you don't think you don't. I mean, listen. How old are you? 35.
I'm 36 years old.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure cell phones have been around almost as long as you have.
Yeah, I remember getting my first cell phone when I got my car, and it was like one of these straight, like brick kind of
Yeah, yeah,
phones.
yeah, yeah.
At 16 years old is when I got my first cell phone, and they hadn't been around for a crazy long time before that. At
But
least not where just regular people would have phones.
okay, but my point is, um, that there was there wasn't even the concept of a cell phone when I was a kid that I knew of. We were excited because the telephone, which was plugged into the wall, went from a rotary dial where if the phone number started with 9, you'd stick your finger in the 9 and you'd come around till you hit the button at the end, and whatever the numbers were, you had a rotary dial. Then the big thing for us, exciting times for us, push buttons. Okay, so you could just push button. You didn't even have to lost the rotary. So
And then color TV.
yeah, where it was like you could dial your own race. You could make people whatever color you wanted. These were exciting times when I was a kid. Okay, my point is that for me to not want to own something seemed odd because we didn't get things unless we owned them. And in millennials, it was like came upon a time when cell phones happened and nobody ever really owned their cell phone. They just made a cell phone payment, and every 2 years you could trade it in to upgrade your phone. And yeah, your generation became used to the concept that you pay as you go as opposed to you own it and it's yours. And so I'm not trying to defend your generation, but it's all you've known. I mean, we didn't have computers well, maybe we did have computers, but households didn't have computers when I was a kid. Okay. It was a big deal when we landed on the moon, damn it. I mean, I remember working my summer job at the Sands Motel in Ventnor, New Jersey. Okay. And when was it? 1969, I think it was, that we landed on the moon. Okay. And I was the nighttime switchboard operator. A switchboard. You have no idea what a switchboard is for a phone.
I know exactly what a switchboard is. You take the little things and you connect calls where you have these two little, yeah.
Okay, so I was the nighttime switchboard operator. I'm watching as they're getting ready to walk on the moon, and the switchboard goes off. And I plug in the cord and I go, "Front desk, don't you know somebody's about to walk on the damn moon?" And, and the guy wanted to make a call. But I've witnessed a lot of changes and I guess, realistically, the changes I've witnessed are astronomical. I can't even begin to imagine over the rest of the course of your life what type of changes you will witness in comparison to the changes that I thought were astronomical.
Let me pause you for 1 second. We talk about boomer versus millennial, and I made fun of millennials real quick. All right, boomer, do you know where you're going with this?
Do I?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, keep going.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is you are a product of what you've been accustomed to. And so millennials are a product of what they've been accustomed to. And it is just new crap every 3 years.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, so wait a minute. I'm trying to get back. All right.
I'm sorry.
The Trump team. All right, here we go. So, Ray, I've been driving my Tesla. I just got a free month trial from Elon.
I think we're going back in time.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I don't even know where I am right now.
Are you a boomer now? I thought that was a boomer thing.
That's so funny.
May I say one thing? That is the beauty of what we do. People don't understand that you and I don't discuss any of this beforehand. And it's just literally the two of us enjoying each other's company and having a conversation, and wherever it goes, it goes. We have no idea. None of this is really planned, other than, okay, we've seen a few headlines and we think, okay, this could be a good topic to talk about, but neither one of us has any idea as to what the other is about to say. So,
and not 1 ounce of alcohol do we do this on.
No, not at all. No.
All right, you might not know this, but this is a brand new channel, and you know what we need for you to do? We need you to subscribe, because if you're watching this, I can see the numbers. You're not subscribed, so just hit that button for us. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it really helps us out. All right, so I got a comment.
Okay.
No. You go.
Well, I was just going to say, I think what it really all boils down to is your generation will be much more accepting of self-driving vehicles than my generation. And I personally don't want to stick my ass in a vehicle that doesn't have somebody driving it. That's just me. Okay, whether I be the driver or my Uber driver's my driver, whoever, but I don't want to call up for an Uber and have the damn thing pick me up and there's nobody behind a wheel because, well, there's no wheel. I would never feel comfortable with that. Your generation, I believe, could.
Yeah, there's the point. There's the tie-in. That took 10 minutes. Yeah, my generation, more apt to change. Boomers, not so much.
There you have it.
All
right. So my question is, what's going to happen? So we go here. All right, here's my tangent now. So I watch the stock market, pay attention to it a lot. And a few years ago, we had Boeing that had a big crash.
Yes.
And company, big shadow over them for a very, very, very long time. Took them a long time to bounce back. But here's the thing. What happens when one of these robo-taxis or one of these Teslas that have FSD, when they mow over it, just the software, some kind of glitch, something gets hacked, heaven forbid, and they just mow over a parade or something like that, and people die. What happens in that scenario? Because in my mind, it seems almost inevitable that a tragedy like this happens with this kind of technology. And I think that, okay, where you have government that's easing up on regulation, it feels like at that moment, government gets in and there's all the regulation in the world that happens right after a crisis like that.
I tend to agree with that. I think what happens, though, is that you've already planted the seed, and the seed is that it gets hacked, that the systems get hacked. And if and when that happens, it won't be necessarily considered a failure of the self-driving vehicle or the robo-taxi or whatever it is. It will be considered a terrorist attack, okay, that a bad actor, someone against the United States, hacked into the systems and made this happen. So one has to ask the question, how do you develop computer systems that are capable of driving vehicles that are also incapable of being hacked? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know a lot about that type of technology, but I get notices all the time that, some of my stuff's been found on the dark web, or so-and-so's customer base was hacked, and maybe some of your information was part of that hack, Ray. So I don't know of any computers that haven't been at one point in time hacked. And why should I suspect for a moment that a bad actor won't be able to hack into these things?
Yeah, I want to go back to the beginning of this video and talk about my FSD experience. And
Okay.
we got a comment saying that it sounds like my software hasn't been updated for over a year. Yeah, I talked to Farzad about this experience that I had, and that's the first thing he went to. And
Yeah.
he said, Brandon, well, is your what version do you have? And my Tesla had just been updated, but I showed him the actual software, and he said that it was like either a version or two that was older. But in my car, my used 2019 model Tesla, this is the version that they gave me to try,
Yeah.
and this is the version that my Model S would be able to have, and it wasn't able to have the newer version of the FSD. So here it's almost weird that they will give different versions to different models. And Farzad told me, Farzad is an expert on
Yes.
Tesla. So I trust everything he says about all the software and everything. He said it's very weird from Tesla, and even him being a super Tesla fanboy,
Yeah.
he is still able to talk his mind and say some negative things. And I really respect this about Farzad. But he said it was very weird that Tesla offers multiple different versions. There's like tons of different versions out for different models of these Teslas that are going out. And it's weird for him to not think that they just wouldn't release the newest version and give it to all of the models of Teslas that are out there. But even with that, me having a couple model older version on mine, it still was so bad that I don't understand how this got past any government regulation because of how it went fast and then it stopped and then it tried to change lanes into another car. And it's like it didn't see things that were happening in the road, even though I saw it on the screen. So it's almost like the whole software was faulty. But this is something that's going to have to be fixed. And it seems like with less regulation coming from the administration on this, that it's just opening the doors to have more accidents, more mistakes, and more really liability for a lot of these. For a lot of the software for Tesla that's coming out with this stuff, and it seems like a big risk for Tesla themselves to not have more regulations. Almost like a I don't know the phrasing for it, but you take down regulation and then it opens yourself up for more regulation down the road because it's not being tested enough.
Yeah, and you would think that if they want to get you to sign up for full self-driving, that if they are going to provide you with a month of free full self-driving, that they'd want to provide you with the best possible product, and they would want to put their best foot forward as opposed to, I don't know, the 2022 version. So I think sometimes you are speaking the future. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you do away with regulations, you expose the folly of what we've done and then realize not only did we need the regulations that we did away with, but now we need stronger regulations. So I think you see the future for what it is, and I believe that to be that there'll be less regulations, there'll be more incidences than there normally would have been, which ultimately will require more regulation than there had been in the first place, and it'll just be like this self-fulfilling prophecy of doom and gloom for full self-driving and robo type vehicles.
Do you feel like with less regulation, and then we have the Trump administration who's going to do away with these tax credits,
Yeah.
do you feel like it just opens the door more for Elon and Tesla just to basically just run the whole game? And there's really not going to be any other players that can be successful in it, at least for the near term, because it's so hard for these other makers to make any money producing these vehicles?
I'm pretty sure that was if I were going to spend 130 to 180 million dollars to influence an election, the outcome that I would want would be one that would where I would have enough of that person's ear to be able to see to it that the playing field is tilted in my companies, the various companies that I have, tilted in their favor. And so if you do away with EV tax credits, which Elon has always said we shouldn't have them, so give him credit for saying that. But saying it now, he knows that it destroys his competitors. It they can't compete with him. So that strengthens his business. If they ease regulations for self-driving vehicles, well, the next big thing on the horizon for him is robo taxis. Well, that'll give him a competitive advantage because he's ahead of the game there as well. And so ultimately, it's like anything else. Would you spend 130 to 180 million dollars to make 180 billion? If you could get 10 times return on your investment, would you do that? And I'm pretty sure a sharp business person would go, abso-friggin-lutely. Okay? I mean, why wouldn't you? And if it plays out that way, I mean, nobody played the game better when you get right down to it.
Subscribe to the channel. It's a new channel, Car Sense.
Oh, yes. Let's see. I got a 4-year-old Accord, one owner, with 33,000 miles for 15,000. Is that a good deal?
Well, I get, in my mind, it would depend on what trim level Accord, but in today's world, that sounds like a pretty damn good deal.
It also depends on the condition. Like every used car is different. So, I mean, you can have a 4-year-old Honda Accord that looks brand new, or you could have one that looks like it's been put through a meat grinder. I mean, I see both scenarios at auctions, and you might have one. I mean, this one might look like absolute crap, and it's $15,000, and you have one that looks brand new, and it brings $22,000 at the auction. So there's so many different ranges for used cars. Like if it's been subjected to any rust, if it's got some rust that started on the frame, I mean, that's going to tremendously change the price on face level. If your Accord is good and it looks good and there's nothing wrong with it, then yes, that is a great deal. But every used vehicle is different, and you have to price them different. All right.
So
all right. We'll take some. Give me just a Brandon only question or two, and then I'll answer that real quick while Ray is doing whatever he's doing. Do we have questions?
I haven't looked, but you might want to change the screen for a second.
Oh,
just a thought.
We about have a crotch shot.
Yeah, you do have a go into. That's not what I was thinking. But go check out the comments that are there.
All right. Let's see here. Do I hate Christmas? No, I don't hate Christmas. I just hate Thanksgiving. Right after my son's birthday, which is in September, we just want to skip all the crappy holidays and go right to the good ones. So we put our Christmas tree up at the beginning of October, and that's when I start celebrating Christmas. And I won't end celebrating Christmas until my wife makes me take down the Christmas tree.
And in my defense, we're looking at like April. I mean, I'm not crazy here. But just for those of you that feel like that's super random, that was from the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Is there one of those two that you think I should answer? Wait a minute. Ray's back. That was quick. You need to be on a race team. That's the fastest pit stop I have ever seen.
Well, I did work at the Penske organization. And he does.
They train all the sales managers.
Well, where at the facility that I worked at, we had the Penske Racing Museum, and literally we had a bunch of the NASCARs there and Indy cars. And one of the fellas that worked in the museum was also on the pit crew of I think when Helio was Castroneves was still driving for Roger. So yeah, those guys used to practice there occasionally. So yeah, I learned how to change my battery quickly. Now, if you ask me to change a tire, that could take a month and a half.
Yeah, we need to get you to my shop. We got we got probably 30 cars that we're waiting to get out right now. We are backed up. But it's a good problem to have right now because we're getting ready for tax time. We got 94 cars right now, and I think they sold like 3 today already.
It's at
Well,
least
that's
2.
good.
Yeah, so we're over 90, and but I want to have about 150 into February.
We got some buying to do.
Yeah, well, Alex has got some buying to do. We've already talked about this. I'm never going to auction ever again.
Yeah, he needs to get his ass back in gear.
Yeah.
He's at the auction now.
Oh, yeah, he's
so
at the
I'm
auction
sure he'll
right
do a
now
great
as we
job.
speak.
Good for him.
All right, so let's go. All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's stay in the same vein. This was something that you wanted to talk about, and I have a little bit of a backstory on this. So let's
Okay.
all right, see how this is going to look. That's good enough, or is that better? Nope, this is better. All right.
Hey, if you liked what we talked about today, and I'm not sure why you would, but I'm hoping you did, we need you to not only like this video, but we need you to subscribe. I can't even say subscribe. We need you to subscribe as well.